What's up, gang? This is part 2 of Arcade Repair Toolbox Tour. In the part 1, we went through my everyday carry tool bag, which is my everyday carry tools, stuff I use every single day, and I have to take with me to every single job. This video, I want to go over the small part storage. So, working in arcade repair, you have lots of parts that you need, and not only do you need lots of parts, you need lots of different parts. So here in my small box, I have all of my components and teeny tiny parts, and then I have the Dewalt small parts organizer, which I'm actually using for like medium sized stuff. Stick around and we'll go through it and I'll show you all my goodies. Just start in the corner and we'll kind of work our way through here. See, up here I got this is actually incomplete. I got some more I need to put in here, but it's an SD card and then a thing to put it in, Raspberry Pi, which I have right here with a little casing. So that one hasn't been used yet. I do have another one in my test rig that is already loaded up with games and arcade ROMs and stuff. Since we're in here, just go to this one. This is like the main control board for an Arduino. It's not a brand name Arduino, but a clone or whatever you want to call it. Freenove or Freenova. I have I forget what it's actually called for the full size one. There's also a Nano and a couple others. So far I haven't used any of these, but I am bringing my little kit that I have. Plus I've been buying stuff for these, like, I don't know, little pieces at a time, not realizing that that's what it was for. Thinking I could use it, and I was like, oh, that's Arduino stuff. But it was usually like stuff from Wish, or I buy stuff from Wish just to entertain myself. All right, I'll put that together later. It's taking me too long. So this is what I was going for. This is a power supply tester, and it's got all its voltages here, and it's got the different connections on here. It's got a 4-pin, 6-pin, floppy, hard drive. This is a 20 and 24 pin. So it's basically for your ATX connector, ATX style power supplies. They're like the box ones that are in computers. And this one here, this is the capacitor transistor tester. I used to have one like this. It was in a clear case. Looked really do-it-yourself and janky. This is the exact same thing. Only this one, you can recharge it. So I always have batteries in that one. Okay, so then we have this in here. Okay, we went over that. And then this is just a battery holder here. In case I need to replace one in a pinball machine that's been leaky. I have several of those with me. And then here I have, these are just like some fingerboards for making Jamma adapters. That's what I use them for. Ooh, sounded like it broke, but it didn't. This is one I made for the elevator action that I was testing. See, this one's that's the Jamma adapter from Mike's Arcade. This one's really cool here. This one is for your inputs. So it's kind of just a pass-through. So you'll plug this into your cabinet this way, and then you'll plug whatever board you're testing into this side, and then it'll tell you your 5 volts, what it's at coming through here. And then we have left, right, up, down, test, start, coin. And then these are your 5 different buttons. The same thing down here, except for, you know, you have your different tilt and your test menu and stuff like that. So you can actually play your game here, and you don't have to build a control panel or anything like that. The other thing it does is it tests your cabinet to make sure all your wiring is right for your buttons. And it'll also make sure, if you already know that your wiring is right for your buttons, then you can test kind of to make sure that the inputs are proper on the PCB itself. Because sometimes, you know, maybe the PCB button, the B button won't work or something. These are blank adapters. This side of the Jamma adapter can be anything you want it to be, and this side is Jamma. And then so you take pin 1 of, let's say you're doing a dig dug board, pin 1, you know, ground or 5 volts for the dig dug board. Then you would go to the equivalent, let me see if I can get it to focus. You would go from the 1 to say A on the Jamma harness, because A and 1 are both ground for Jamma. So you just match them up. And same thing with the back row. It's just your part side and your solder side, and same thing over here. So you just match them up, and then it looks like this when you get done. These are all the elevator action pinouts, and this is Jamma. So you just go to there, to there, to there. And then this one actually has a separate connector for power. So I was able to just put this header pin up here and then run a Molex and a little mini harness over to the other one. Worked perfectly fine. I was happy with that. And this last one is Nintendo to Jamma. And I actually have, I don't know where it's sitting, it's still sitting back here. I have a Donkey Kong 4-stack that goes, it converts your 4-stack little pin connectors to an edge connector, which then I can put this on, and then I can put it, or I can test it on my Jamma rig. Because we have like 3 or 4 Donkey Kong boards, a Donkey Kong Jr., a Popeye, and a Mario Brothers to work on in Kansas when I get back. So gonna need those. That's gonna come in handy. So next is just an extra wall wart. I'm gonna have these everywhere. This is really handy. I don't know if you guys have one of these. This is a little adapter for USB, obviously, but it goes to that old S-Video, or oh, it's called PS2. I always forget. The PS2 style connector for hooking up keyboards or mice, whatever you want to call it. But all the time on like some older games or Mega Touches especially, it wants you to hook your keyboard into it so that you can type F1 or escape so you can get into the menu. But this will be an easy way to convert your keyboard into this style. Because even though it says it takes both, it really doesn't. It wants that one. Then I just have a little thing of glue sticks and a little mini glue gun. I think I got that for like less than $5 at Harbor Freight or something. Got some stickers. I just, whenever they send me the emails where they're like, you know, 50 stickers for $3, I'm like, all right, send them to me. I don't really buy that stuff other than that. So this one is a standard 5 volt with 2 outputs. It's got a decent sized battery on it. It will actually charge, I think, my iPhone 3 times. This one here is a 12 volt output, and I was using it to run the little mini monitor that I have in my test rig before I put it in my test rig. But I'm going to use this in some kind of project too, just because it's 12 volts. Most of them that I have are 5, so it's kind of handy. It's actually got an on and off switch too. Okay, back here I have some, I'm not even really going to get this out. This is just like the thermal compound. That's what I'm looking for. This is that silver oxide, is that what it's called? Silver bearing solder paste. This is like the off-brand version of Chip Quick, I think it's called. But you put this stuff on there, and then you heat it up with your rework gun. It's basically like a light heat gun, and it just liquefies it, and your chips will fall right out. It's really, really good. Now this stuff works great, so I imagine the real brand does wonders. So this is just this is 20 gauge wire. I think this is 2, and this is the silicone wire, which I hate it on a roll. I absolutely hate it. But whenever I'm done and I have the harness that I've made out of it, I actually prefer it to that other plasticky feeling wire. This is more rubbery. When it's done, it feels more professional, even though it feels really silly on this. I hate it on the roll, and it just won't stay on there. I got one of those chip pullers they give me every now and then when I order stuff. I do like these. And I got a couple of leads. These are going to go somewhere else. These are going to go in with the rest of the leads. I had to find some corks or something for them. That's that one. I know this is kind of random stuff. This is just going around the shop going, oh, I'm going to need this. I'm going to need that. Okay, back here we have another battery pack, and then this is just a little thing to hold my phone so that I can, if I'm watching myself do videos or watching somebody else or even reading schematics or something. It's a little one. I have a bigger one for my iPad too. And this one is just breadboards, and I think this one was the one-shot circuit I was working on. Yeah, it's just breadboards, and this one's got a little thing that goes on it because your power and your ground run on these rails on the outside. This one you can just plug in and run the power, turn it on and off. You don't have to jump your little wires for power like this one is here. Pretty handy. I was looking on Wish. I haven't been on there in a long time, and there's like just so much of this little bread stuff and Arduino stuff on there for $1 or $2. And you can probably order 5 or 6 things. You're only going to get 3, and you never know when you're going to get them, you know. Like, it's going to come this month or 6 months from now. This is awesome. I don't think I've shown this in a video. This is kind of like a little prank thing. It's called the Annoying Cricket. And basically it's just a PCB and some, looks like a resistor of some sort. A couple buttons over here on the side and a little speaker. Not even much back here. Annoying generator. So it's a rip-off of the Annoying Cricket. But what it does is it plays a cricket sound. You can choose in between cricket or noise or beep, basically. And it will go off every so often. You can choose your time to the delay. And it'll go off this battery. It says will last for up to 3 years. So you do is you put some double-sided tape here, and you stick it up underneath a cabinet or somewhere where it's going to be heard but not seen. It'll just drive somebody crazy for 3 years. Real mechanical sounding, or real computer sounding. That's just too much. Oh, that's volume? Holy crap. Are you kidding me? I didn't know it even did all this. That's horrible. I don't know if I could do that to my worst enemy. I thought that was the where you switch and you get your delay of time, but I don't see any way of doing that. But there are, see how there's jumpers and stuff here? Sometimes you can connect solder points to do different functions on these little PCBs that are going around. But this thing is going to be awesome. I'm definitely going to nail somebody with that. Probably I'll come home from Kansas one time and I'll leave this going off the whole time I'm gone. Derek knows about it, but I don't know if anybody else does. Okay, so in here isn't anything too exciting. Got some batteries. This is a little converter from CGA to VGA if you're running like standard resolution to standard resolution. And here I have some labels for my label maker, and then we have some LED bulbs, some more wire. Here we have the test pattern generator. Make sure it's off. And then I got the cables for it in there. It should come with one of these cases, as expensive as these are. Here I just have 2 converter boards and then the wires that it needs for that job. Lately, I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to talk about this for a second. Lately, they have only been putting these 2 cables in here, the power wire and then the video. This video does not work for me at all. I don't know if you guys have been able to have any luck with it, but I can't get it to sync. Sometimes it won't show up at all. I always use the connector that goes to this big one here, or it looks kind of like a monitor's yoke connection. This one I don't have a problem with at all. They quit including this connector. One of the guys sells it. It's like $3, I think. I can't remember. Somebody has a really nice one with a long set of wires that go to it, but it's like $6. Somebody else has them for $2 or $1.95. If you can find them, grab a few if you end up having to, you know, convert a lot of monitors to LCD like I do. Have some waterproof LED strips. These are pretty nice. And then this is just some different connectors I have just in case. Like we have, these are for running the control panel off of USB. Got your little inputs. So I got a couple of those. I've never had to do that. I just wire in regular stuff. And I think this is a NES. Yeah, this is a NES with 72-pin connector replacement. Same with these. I always fix the old ones, but have one just in case I come across one that is totally shot. And the only reason I have the 2 containers out of this side is because these originally were in one of these and they fit fine. But I figured moving around and bouncing around, I didn't want them to scrape against each other. They're not that expensive, but when you need one, you need one. You don't have to wait days for it to come in the mail. So I just took that out, put this in here, and then I was able to fit the test pattern generator in here too, which it probably will have a home somewhere else before I actually leave. But that's just some random stuff that I wanted to take this time because I knew this time I'm up against a little bit different scenario. We got opening a mini arcade inside a Comic-Con, so I really just don't know what I'm going to be up against, and so I'm going to try to take everything. But let me set up, and then we'll go through the components. Okay, the contents of this box are pretty much priceless to me. Starting out as, you know, just a hobbyist and a collector, you order pretty much the parts that you need, maybe a couple extra here and there, but to actually amass any kind of quality amount of parts, it just will take you forever. Now, if you're working on them every day, doing it for a living, of course, you're gonna magnify that amount and severely. But the thing is, when I started, I did not have any extra cash for this stuff. So as I would go, I would still order parts that I needed, but I was ordering like maybe 5 or 10 extra here and there if I could. Eventually started to get more and more. They didn't have these fancy kits They're not fancy at all, but they didn't have any kits like for most of the stuff on Amazon. There was, you know, maybe capacitor kits and stuff like that, and they're generic values. They're not exactly what we need for arcade stuff or for certain monitors. But eventually, over time, I started taking my money, and then I would almost put all of it back in. Be like, okay, well, I have another job in a couple days. I don't really need any money for spending anything. So eventually I was able to start buying stuff in bulk instead of in kits. And like say you buy 50 capacitors of one that you're out, it might cost you, you know, 20 bucks or something. Depending on the capacitor, it could be a lot, it could be 10. But you start doing that, and then you start filling one of these guys up here, and then I use that to, if I'm going to work on a monitor, I'll pull a cap kit out of these, since I know exactly which ones are in there, and then put the cap kits in my bag for that monitor. A situation like this, I'm filling bins from bins because I want to have a lot of everything, but I don't have enough room to take everything that I have. And as you'll see here, there's at least some of everything that I have in here. I did just have all of these, just had my capacitors, and I had a big open section for each capacitor value. Well, if I want to get anything more in here and not have 5 of these boxes, I had to condense that down a little bit. So I'm going to have to search for some here and there. But let's go ahead and just start with what's on top here. I'm going to start with this. This is one thing that I'm going to start utilizing more on the channel. It's just a little digital microscope. I can use it with my little monitor that I have in my test kit, or I have a separate one too, one that I'm going to put on the wall here at home. But this will, I can use this and get us video off of it. It's Wi-Fi, so that'll help, and we can really zoom in and check out for like cold solder joints and stuff like that. This was a Wish purchase a long time ago. I thought IC tester, I just thought it would test every IC, and I probably didn't think I could test ROMs, but it's not anywhere near big enough to test a ROM. But I ordered it from Wish, and I didn't think that it worked because I put several chips in here and it didn't read them. This only tests logic ICs, the 74 series and the 40 series. And there's a few others that it tests too. Get it to turn on. And most of the time, you just put your chip in there. I think, yeah, you put your chip in there, and then you close this. It needs to go up at the top, not at the bottom like some of the other ones. And then you just hit enter. Now, normally it'll tell you, it doesn't tell you good. What it says is the name. If the name of it comes up, it's able to identify it, it probably works. So it's great for the 74s and the 40s. The rest of it, let's see, we go to, it's got 2 different functions. Go to the search, and then we have the 74HC, which I think are high powered, and then low power. There's the 4.0s, more 4.0s, and then 4.5s and 1.45s. It has some of these, and I don't remember what those were. And then other, we'll come over to the side. So here's ULN 2803. What was that one? ULN 2003, no, 2803, 2003, Max 232, 485, LS 32, 31. So it's got some other random ones, which is great. There's just the one that I always need it to work for. Of course it doesn't. Except for the logic ICs. That's super handy. But this was, I think on Wish, I got this for like 48 bucks and like $7 shipping or something. So it was still kind of expensive for me at the time. Now these things are like $100. I don't know what they are on Wish. I don't really order from there anymore. I only did at the time because I couldn't afford anything. But now it takes so long to get stuff, and I have money. I just want to Amazon and get it here tomorrow. I got things to do. Now, this is an Amazon kit. I will have some links up for you guys for this stuff. And if you, just like normal, if you use any of my links to buy anything at all from Amazon, as long as you clicked through my link, I'll get some kind of commission and it'll help support the channel. But they won't be up right away because I have something to do right after this, but I will update the video as soon as I get back. So this is different sockets for ICs. And more IC sockets are bad than you know on some of these old boards. So these will do your like CPUs and your like big sound chips. And these are some weird sized ones. Looking, I guess I don't have any ones that are the appropriate size for the EEPROM chips. So I'll have to order some of those. I'm surprised. You can always cut one of these down, though, and make it appropriate size if I needed to. I thought there was some in here. Oh, maybe that is it, 40. All right, I'm dumb. Yeah, so there's the different sizes there. I should have just looked there and I would have known. This was... It was less than 20 bucks. I think it was like 15 or less. But even though like these kits they sell on Amazon, they may not be the exact thing you need or the best quality ever. But if you're in a pinch and you need to fix a game, you're going to be happy to have one of these potentiometer kits. You know, even if it's one you have to, you know, turn your screwdriver from straight up and down and not from an angle. At least you have one to put in the monitor that's not shorted and you can continue to on your repair. And when you get the appropriate one, you can always swap it back. But this is awesome. This is like 2 or 3 kits. I use basically the same ones, and they're always for the K7000s. The little remote boards get smashed and dropped. Even at work, they're really bad. Yeah, that's several kits. That's why it looks really, really full. When you get yours, don't think you get ripped off. This is my Degauss coil. This is smaller than the one I would have liked, but I got a great deal on it. I got this on eBay for $5.85 shipped. And you'd like to have one probably about this, about 12 inches or so. But in the ad for this one, the guy was selling a bunch of different ones. In the ad, you couldn't see the cord at all. And it didn't look red, didn't have that sticker. And all you could really see was just that much. Couldn't see the base of it or anything like that. Just kind of saw like that. And it was really, it had this white dust all over the plastic. And it looked kind of pink. It looked really pink, actually. But what it looked like was this weird knobby sex toy. And I guess from the description, people just didn't really look, or they just went, ooh, gross, and flipped off of it. Because it had no watchers or nothing. And it sold for my first bid, $5.85. I'm guessing that that's the only reason why, because I just boggles me. The other ones that were black, or I think there was a white one even, they all went for 40 bucks, 50 bucks, something like that. And it's a good one. I just don't ever have really good luck with these. It kind of does what I need it to do, but not all the way. We have here, okay, I have plenty of fuses out there, but I don't have a kit like this. This is the little itty-bitty short ones for some of the monitors. And that's really the only place that I run into these small ones is on the monitors. What do we have here? Okay, these are just like little wiring things. They're all small ones. I need to get kind of some mixture. But you put your wiring through there and then shoot your screw down. It comes with a bunch of screws. So that's whenever I make new harnesses, or if I'm restoring a game, and I like to run all my wires. I hate that spider web look in the bottom of the game. I know sometimes you just have to. Speed got to be done at a certain time, but if I have the chance, I really like to do it well. This is, that's just Pac-Man cap kit. And these are parts for the arcade. So I'm keeping them separate just so they know I have an invoice for them, money-wise and accounting and whatnot. So that's all of my stuff over there on the side. These three here in the front, they're all capacitors. Let's show you one in the middle, get an idea what it looks like. Holy cow, this is in here tight. So this is 220 UF through 47 UF small ones. And the labels that I have are either old or they're crap. So I need to come over with some tape. But basically, if I had a whole crap load of them, they have their own spot, like these 220 50s. I don't know how much I use of that, but I have a whole bunch of them. But most of the time I did like this, 3.3 UF small ones. These are under 50. So a lot of times I won't bother ordering 16s, 25s, 35s, and 50s. I'll just get a bunch of 50s. But I do have them. It's just sometimes I'll just get 50s for speed, because it takes a long time to put together a capacitor order when you have to order 50, 60 values. So that's basically how I did this. I had to sacrifice my time for searching for the appropriate cap, which is great, saves a lot of time, but it's nice to have all these parts with me instead of just these. And these cases are great. The only thing is I wish they had more longer compartments. Caps are fine, but you start getting into the bigger ones, you run out of room. I'd like to take more than 3 of some of the bigger ones. And when you get into the other parts, you'll see I had to use different cases for some stuff just because I had a ton of stuff that just needed longer compartments than this. Now we get to the third one. I finished off the regular aluminum electrolytic capacitors. So then I started loading it up with the ceramic ones, and I forget what these green ones are called. One of them are poly, one of them are mylar. I don't have the blue ones. I do have one over here I need to add to this. Fell out on the floor yesterday, so put that one in there. But see, I have 4 spots left, so I am gonna go back through it, and I need to fix my labels anyway. And I'm gonna fill this all the way up, and I'm gonna space out a couple more of those that are just full of several different kinds. So I wasn't sure how many spaces I would need at first. And I was really trying to maximize my room in here. I just have so much. I do still have to add the last of my pinball parts. I have some, what do we have? Just some, I have some solenoids. These, you have a bunch of these. This is going to add up room and weight really fast. So I got to figure out what to do with those. Hi, Willow. Willow's playing with the tripod saying hi. Okay, go on. Find something else. There, let me throw her a toy. Oh, she's interested because I'm talking. Anyway, we'll just have to deal with it. So next we'll go past the capacitors. Hang on.
I'm Walter Day, the father of esports, and you're watching Matty Mo's Arcade.
So as I was saying, there's more pinball stuff to get in here, and some of it I might have to figure out another way. Like, I don't know how I'm going to fit all those coils in here. So this container is mostly... I'm totally drawing a blank. Raspberry Pi came to mind, and that's not what I mean. But I have the little digital display. This is what I want to use for the RAM tester I want to build, just because I have so much RAM for all those Defender and Stargate boards, and not a real good way of testing them other than swapping them out in that game. And got these little wires for jumper wires, and and that stuff's handy. This is another one of those. Oh, this is a different cable. That's a USB-C. That's handy. Here's one to hook it up to a 9-volt for the little breadboard power station that I have for the back of that. Arduino, that's what I'm looking for. Some more little breadboards and stuff. See, I got an amp in here. And just some micro switches. Hopefully they work. Let's see, just random capacitors. So there's all kinds of randomness in here. But it's a good place for me to put my resistors. This was another item that was too big for a small, compartment like those. And this was the only spot I really had to put them. Otherwise, it was going to have to go into something else. Another, category of long items. There's another battery holder there. But I have a lot more of this stuff that is mixed in other boxes, and a lot more, oh, damn it, Arduino. that is just not a name that's coming to me today. I have a lot more Arduino stuff that's not in here. This was just the, the bigger and longer stuff that I didn't know what to do with in other boxes. This one is also needed long spots too. This is all the Molex connectors, headers. We got some edge connectors, all the crimp pins. There's some more breadboards in there, a pinball. But I have, these are 0.156 headers. That's like your main header you run into in arcade and pinball. And then I also have the headers for the 0.1, the little itty bitty guys. I'm just throwing stuff all over the floor. Those are standard pinouts for all your Arduino and all your Raspberry Pi stuff. I'll use those little itty bitty headers. Just random. We got some new and some used Molex. As long as they're not gouged up real bad on the inside, they're fine to reuse. I mean, if you had battery damage or something, you probably wouldn't want to reuse those. But and then I got one pinball. This one's good and polished. All the other ones kind of had spots on them that I have, and so I threw them away. Little rust spots I don't think will polish out. So this next one, I think, okay, this is like our transistors and voltage regulators and vertical ICs and all that good stuff. I do have some more that I need to get into here. Instead, I just made a big bag. These are all like color drive transistors. You can see I got a bunch in there. A bunch of like the TIPs or tips, whatever you want. And there's some, what is that? NTE 171. What's this guy here? MJE 340. And I got a few of the bottle caps. These are the ones that you'll find on the G07, and then the Sanyo's got one too. Some of these are HOTS. We have the K7000. We have the Polo. I think I have the Hantarex Polo. I have maybe the K7400, I have the 9400, 9500, one of the two of those too. And then I can't remember exactly what monitors these all go to. These up here, there's the 3130 and the 3130 or 3130 in that style, 30130 in this style. And those are different sizes of K7000. You have the 3123, and this one should be 3023, 30123, sorry. The same thing there. I can't remember. I think it goes like this one is a small, or like a 19-inch, and then this one's the 27 or 25. And same over here with the two different styles. But it takes so many. I think there might even be more than just these four. And that's just a voltage regulator, right? I think so. But yeah, it's like, plus you have your vertical IC, and then you have your hot. It takes a lot for just that one series of monitor just to have it all squared away. That was fun to try to figure out without knowing what I was doing. Let's see what we got here. This one's another rando. So we got diodes and stuff over here. Another thing that needed bigger compartments than what I had. I have a potentiometer kit. This was my first travel kit. This one came from Wish for sure. I think it was like $2.50 or something. $2 shipped. But not bad for $5. You get all kinds of potentiometers to have in the weight. More diodes. And then I think this one is for radar. Not radar, but motion sensor from certain distances. I don't know what this one is. I didn't look it up, but it's got four LEDs to let you know it's doing something. I have to check that out. Here's a joystick. One thing I want to do with the Arduino is I want to take a little small kids pinball machine and I want to use Arduino parts, stack them together, you know, write whatever code I need to, keep it really, really basic, but make a pinball machine out of it that's themed. And then once I can do it and get it to work, I think I can get it bigger and bigger and bigger, and maybe try to retheme you know, an empty cabinet or something like that, or one that's destroyed. You know, I'm not going to completely take one and then ruin a game by any means, but if I could use something like this to bring one back to life, it would be great. So this is a servo motor, I think. Yeah. And I think this is a step motor. And I don't know what these are called, but these were in like the little RC cars and stuff when I was a kid. You probably recognize it, probably know what it is. But good for little cars. Stepper motor, of course. You can use that for a lot of different things. Oh, and I have these little transistors too. Same thing with these. I have tons of this stuff already out there, but I put it in here just in case there's a value that I have here that, heaven forbid, don't have at the shop out there. There's a couple of this long leg, thin style bridge rectifier. I did get a couple more of the short style, like little stubby legs, little posts. Those are in the bag for the arcade. I got some extras, but I left them all in there. This is a little relay. I think this one's 5 volt. Let's see. 3 amp, 250 volt or 30 volt. That was bigger than I thought. A little itty bitty guy. This is, let's see if it's labeled. It is, but it doesn't tell you what it is. These are the little crystals for what I was wanting them for, were for clocks on the board. There isn't a whole lot that are the right size for this, for what we do, but I have them in here because they need a clock signal in a lot of things other than arcade boards. And it might give me just enough to get a boost one night or something. I forget what this one is, but I definitely know that it was a piece that we were going to want to use for pinball stuff. I have super glue in a little bottle. I like to have these for running wires when I'm doing my trying to wire crap up to my test rig, because it's temporary. I don't have to, you know, undo heat shrink and stuff. Here's another little thing, a little heat shrink. I got a bunch of these, so try to put them in everything. Same with these little electrical connectors. I have tons and tons of them, so I try to keep them in everything. There's some in my bag, some in several boxes. This is fuses, fuse holders. You want to make sure you get the ones that are rated right, have enough voltage going through them. So got a couple regular old potentiometers. I think they're 5K or 10K. Should say on here. 10K. So we've got a couple 10K pots, and I put a few more of these little amps in there. These come in handy. And this little amp right here, if you're missing your amp in your Tron or your Tapper, I was using one that was a little bit better on my test rig, but I did try it with one of these. No hum, sounded great, no problems. It's hard to get the sound to work, but once I did, it sounded good. These are just little random bags that they sent with, I think I've got them with Arduino stuff, and I got them with just generic. I think they just throw this stuff in when you order a bunch of parts. Like this one didn't come in anything I ever ordered, but it's got tons of LEDs. Some of them are flashing, and you just don't know until you hook them up. I don't know if there's a way to read LEDs, but it's always good to have, especially when you're doing a little breadboard stuff. Or if you want to add a light to let you know that you're powering something on, like your test pattern generator, which I hear they have one now. I'm going to add one to mine. And then this one, I guess, this is our last one. This one, it needs to be organized, but these are mixed. These are my brand new ICs and good poles that I've tested. And same in here, I have like some stuff like this, little numerical displays. I have a lot more of that stuff. I have some new ROM or proms, or EPROMs, I should say, that I can burn here. And this is 2 rows, except for on these, of course. So I can pull this up. This one may not be a good one to show. And I have more underneath there. And what I did for this, I didn't have any foam to use. I found a pool noodle on clearance at Walmart, and then I cut sections off. You can tell really with this one it's really rounded. And what I did was I cut it in half, flipped it over, kind of cut the edges of it off, and then cut the circular part of the bottom. That way when I put it in here, it sat flatter. You see these are a little bit flatter, but they are still arched. So it's not perfect, not ideal. I ended up finding this, which would have been much better because it was flat, that a power supply came in later, but it's all right. I'll switch it when we get there. But it's, I got like sound chips, the 621s and the Z80s and stuff over here. I said some ROMs, and then I got a ton of RAM in here, 4164, and I think it's over here. No. I don't know. It's in here. I got a bunch of 4164 and 4116 RAM. Not all of it's tested. I got some Pac-Man ROMs and the speed-up chips and stuff in here for that. But that's what I have so far. I just got that programmer recently and just been able to start verifying our ROMs and burning them when we need to, which is a huge part of it. Is that one ROM with one corrupted file will keep you from having your gameplay. Not every time, but sometimes. And in that situation, there's no amount of turning screwdrivers that's going to help you get the game to fix. And once you get it set up on your computer, it takes just a few minutes to fix the ROM, and it's just been night and day difference. All these boards have been like, oh, I don't know, or I wonder. There's no more wondering, really. I have almost everything I need to test everything within an arcade game some way or another. And if I can't figure out, or I don't have anything to test that individually, like RAM, I have a way around, like on the RAM, we can put it in another board that works and fire the board up, or, for example. But I have some way, even if it's deductive reasoning, this works and this works. Those two working means that this thing that's next in line has to work, or it's at least getting its proper voltages and stuff. So you can just narrow things out by deduction too. But that's going to be part 2 of the Arcade Repair Toolbox Tour. I don't know if you can see, but down here I got stacks and stacks of these. We have the main major tools, I guess, aside from the my everyday carries, like, you know, drills and power tools and stuff like that. I also have all the test equipment and electronics and electrical stuff that we can go to. That's probably the next one we'll do. Don't really have to show people drills and stuff like that, but yeah, the next one we'll show all the test gear and all the cool stuff I got for that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Buy something in the links. So these two right here are going to be ground and 5 volt. So what do we get here? Did I not turn the game on? I didn't turn the game on. I guess that would help. Hang on.
Here it is. A nice little trade. The person I traded got what they wanted. I got what I wanted. And a pretty good deal on it too. Super hang on.
Get what I want.
That comes later.
Yeah.
Okay. It's on fire.
Whoa.
Lots of smoke.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah, well, thanks for watching.
When you take care of people, people take care of you in this community.
That's the truth.
So everyone, please remember that. Even if we're competitors, we're not enemies.